What's going on, everyone? So, we got the little peek behind the curtain, a little sneak peek, kind of explanation for the upcoming big screen adaptation of the game Until Dawn. Many people love the game. Many people are big fans of the game. Now, this adaptation, this new film, appears to be very different than the game. I mean, it has some similarities, but the movie itself is going to have some differences. They even talked about that in the little teaser trailer. But it essentially is this group of kids, group of teens that are in this house, in this place, and it's kind of like that Happy Death Day, Groundhog Day style film where you die, you come back, and you got to play this like new level. So it does have this kind of like game element to it, right? It has this kind of like, like you get a new life, and the goal is to try to survive until dawn, right? Hence the name Until Dawn. But we got a bunch of information and news on it. Also, I recommend whenever you get a chance, whenever you get the opportunity, go check out the little teaser for Until Dawn, because it does look really good. But here's the thing: gamers, fans of these games, do not like when you change or create a poor adaptation, right? Like, this kind of seems in a lot of ways, and look, I'm not super familiar with all of it, but from what I've gathered from people, there's already a little bit of a stir from people that are like, hey, this isn't what the game is, right? Like, and so again, we have seen numerous games try to create this adaptation, and not every adaptation is going to be The Last of Us, right? More times than not, they are terrible. Now, if you even look at The Last of Us, a lot of people were at first a little pressed about kind of the changes that were rumored. But then once you saw them all, everyone kind of was like, oh, actually, that makes the story fit better, right? Like, kind of makes more sense, things like that. So, the Last of Us was something that really was well received, right? Where, again, I think that this should at least get the opportunity to be well received. However, again, people do not take it lightly. But getting into the news, and we'll kind of touch on the movie a little more. We have, now this is rumored. This part is rumored. So again, like I said, look at the little teaser. There are stages, right? There are these like rounds that are going to be played. Everybody dies, you come back to life, and then, you got to take on a new level, a new monster is what was said. So, if that's the case, again, rumors are that stage one will be a slasher. So, you'll have a killer with a knife running around taking everybody out, which could be interesting. You'll have a witch, which we got a first little, it appears to be the witch. I'll show the image here shortly, but first look at what is the witch. Sink water, which I think is really interesting. So is that like a swamp monster, right? Is that what that is? So what's sink water? Werewolves and a Wendigo, right? So you got a Wendigo, werewolves, sink water, witch, and a slasher. Again, take these with a grain of salt. This is a rumor. This particular part do have some actual news and stuff coming up here in a second, but no, I kind of like the idea. Like, again, the little teaser looked good. The idea of kind of like these different stages, almost like an anthology series in the film, almost, right? Like, you get these different monsters, kind of Cabin in the Wood-esque, right? I think that there is some real, or there should be some genuine excitement in that. I think that is something that could be very fun, very creative in that space, as far as like the different levels and having all these different monsters and variants, and you got to survive it, and then but the slasher kills everybody, and then they respawn, and then the witch kills everybody, and then they respawn, and then the sink water kills everybody. The sink water is the one I'm really curious about. But this is the synopsis the plot for the upcoming film. So 1 year after her sister Melanie mysteriously disappeared, Clover and her friends head into the remote valley where she vanished in search of answers. Exploring an abandoned visitor center, they find themselves stalked by a mass killer and horrifically murdered one by one, only to wake up and find themselves back at the beginning of the same evening. Trapped in the valley, they're forced to relive the nightmare again and again, only each time the killer threat is different, each more terrifying than the last. Hope dwindling, the group soon realizes they have a limited number of deaths left, and the only way to escape is to survive until dawn. So, again, what this appears to be, and based on the plot and kind of the synopsis, is that essentially, they're a cat that's got 9 lives, and they end up going to go find this girl's sister. Chaos ensues. They start dying, and then they realize, like, oh, wait a minute, we're down to 8 lives. And I'm sure that there's going to be some that actually die, and then some that survive, and then, that's where the until dawn. Because it's kind of like, if you could just keep responding, 1, how do you resolve it? 2, like, how do you stop the loot? Like, you don't really have to worry about dying if you're just coming back, right? Like, at some point, you got to have, like, an end result, right? So, to have this kind of be the end result, okay. So, we're getting essentially like I said, a cabin in the woods meets Happy Death Day meets, the time cut or whatever that I mean, we've gotten a lot of, like, time travel scary movies, right? Like, a lot of them lately. And I think that they've all been pretty entertaining, right? Like, obviously some are better than others, but I think for the most part they've been entertaining. I think for the most part they've been enjoyable. But I look, I'm good. I'm all for a good quality scary movie, right? I'm all for getting a little off the rails a little bit here, getting a little wacky. I'm not against that at all whatsoever. As long as I'm like, something like Scream, I don't want to see that get a little wacky. But if, like, this is the point of the movie, then fine. Yeah, cool, great, right? Like, but I'm curious to see how much people either love this or hate this. But again, the image, this appears to be the witch, apparently, right? We don't know for certain. Could it be something else, possibly? But given that, if there's only a handful of monsters and one of them is a witch, this looks like it could be that. Curious to see how, like, what's the structure of the monsters? Like, is the witch last? Is the Wendigo last? Is the sink water last? Like, what is the sink water? Can we get that answer? Again, assuming that is true. Again, that was just a rumor. But, look, at the end of the day, as long as it's a good movie, whether it is, like for like from, a gaming standpoint, or it's this excellent, adaptation or whatever, right? Like, at the end of the day, I just want it to be a good movie. I think as long as it's good, people won't care. People will look past it. We get, a small minority that might go, like, oh, this isn't like this isn't like the game, right? Like, sure. But if it's a good movie and they do right and they tell a convincing story and, the consensus leaves and are like, you know what, that was really good. Then guess what? Like, people aren't going to, again, the naysayers are gonna always exist. The people that just hate it just to hate it are always gonna exist. But if the general consensus was that's really good, I mean, even The Last of Us, right? Again, like, that did really well. The general consensus was like this was a great series, right? And some people still try to nitpick and find some things. And, like, look, you can nitpick and find everything, but is this a movie that is entertaining? Is this a movie that can really capture an audience and kind of get some of the gamers over to the movie side of things? It looks good. Obviously it looks to be, I mean, we've seen incredible trailers and movies were terrible, just like we've seen terrible trailers and movies are terrible. Didn't get a huge deep dive into, what's going on, but I like that, right? Like, keep it simple. But we'll see. We'll see how this all plays out. Obviously, you have people missing. You got the Blair Witch story where they go out to go rescue her. Typical trope of like, my sister's missing. Even like the Friday the 13th remake, right, with Jared Padalecki, when he's like, oh, I need to find my sister. But again, cast looks good. Story looks good. Game adaptation, so it should be popular. Can they deliver? Right? Can they handle business? That's the real question. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you like this? Do you hate this? Are you mixed in the middle? Are you willing to give it a chance? Or are you kind of like, nah, like this is gonna be terrible? Get how you feel. Whatever your thoughts are, I love to hear it either way. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.